What do you think about Erica Kirk?
Erica Kirk? Oh,
What do you think about Erica Kirk?
would I get sued?
Throw it in the pile.
Oh,
Of course you will.
I don't want to say anything that's controversial. She did it, but I don't want.
During the Super Bowl, there has been a lot of discussion concerning how it's supposed to be done, and everybody knew that Bad Bunny was going to cover the Super Bowl in Spanish, and a lot of the other dominant society decided, you know what, they didn't want to be bothered with a Spanish speaker for a Super Bowl. And so TPUSA, that is headed by none other than Erica Kirk, they said they're going to hold their own Super Bowl halftime show. And let me tell you something, it was disaster.
So as a society, we can all have sympathy for Erica Kirk and her family due to the tragedy of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but still at the same time point out when we disagree with Erica Kirk and also point out when she makes some very big mistakes, and now it's looking to be very clear she screwed herself over by working with Kid Rock. This all starts as a year ago, rapper Bad Bunny said he wouldn't be doing nearly as many concerts anymore in the United States because most of his music was done in Spanish, and he was afraid ICE would begin targeting his concerts to try and deport people. That really angered a lot of Trump supporters, including Donald Trump himself, where even though Trump didn't say this directly, there were these calls from his base to deport Bad Bunny or not let him back into the United States. Completely illegal to do because all Puerto Ricans since 1917 have been born with U.S. citizenship, and also at the same time, Luis Fortunio, who is the governor of Puerto Rico and actually a Republican, was almost named vice president by Mitt Romney in 2012. So a lot of Americans don't know that, or at least they choose not to recognize that, which is why they were so pissed off when Bad Bunny was announced to be the new Super Bowl halftime show, where they were saying he's anti the target demographic that the Super Bowl entertains because he's anti-ICE. A lot of people are calling it political pandering. They're not realizing it's just business for the Super Bowl because 23% of people who watch the Super Bowl are from Mexico or South America, where they do speak Spanish, and that's actually massively up, where in the last 10 years it's increased by 370%. So this is the Super Bowl's way to try and build their South American and Mexican audience. Still, Erica Kirk, who has taken over Turning Point USA since her husband Charlie Kirk passed away, is not happy with this and not looking at that point of logic, saying it's all political pandering, and because of that, she's doing her own rival halftime show to the Super Bowl. Erica Kirk made this announcement. A lot of people were curious who she was actually going to pick to headline her rival Super Bowl halftime performance, and now she has revealed it's going to be Kid Rock, but a lot of people are looking at Kid Rock's music, pointing out there's a lot of lines going on like this, where basically he's just talking about sleeping with underage girls. At the same time, when you look at Kid Rock's music, it goes deeper than that because for decades he's been doing shows with Confederate flags, which, yes, the Confederacy was the government that was formed with their First Amendment being to allow slavery. And also in the recent past, Kid Rock has been a massive supporter of Donald Trump, and he's also really went out against Colin Kaepernick, a football player who began kneeling for the flag, saying he should be disqualified from the NFL, so Kid Rock has definitely entered into the politics of football before. And then also at the same time, this just doesn't look good for Donald Trump, with Erica Kirk hiring Kid Rock right now, because at the end of the day, Donald Trump is in hot water right now over the Jeffrey Epstein files, where basically what happened was Jeffrey Epstein was making these claims that Donald Trump forced a 13-year-old to go down on him, and yeah, that's not the look he wants people to remember right now. There's numerous times now Kid Rock's music has made these suggestive comments about being with underage girls. That's definitely not the look Donald Trump wants, where he has had a lot of associations with Kid Rock before. There's also this message that Erica Kirk is sending by rejecting Bad Bunny, because at the end of the day, 58 million Americans speak Spanish fluently, and a lot of those Americans came from Southern California, Texas, Florida, and many other places where Spanish was the original native language there. And also at the same time, there's Puerto Rico with 3 million people who are U.S. citizens, and yes, they speak Spanish fluently. So basically, Erica Kirk's saying, hey, the language used in Kid Rock's music is okay where it's destructive, but at the same time, Bad Bunny is bad because it's Spanish. Be sympathetic to Erica Kirk, but I think she honestly screwed herself with this whole idea. And with that, I'm Charles Perallo. Please subscribe to learn something.
I just wanted to come on here and say I hope everybody that's watching the Turning Point USA Kid Rock Super Bowl halftime performance, whatever, has a great time watching it, because I promise you it's gonna last like 5 seconds and it's not even gonna go out like at all. It's gonna be so boring. You're gonna be like, wait, you know what? Let me go watch the Bad Bunny. Let me go watch Bad Bunny's performance real quick. And not even that. I hope y'all have seen Candace Owens' video that she recently posted about Erica Kirk. Think about that, okay? I want y'all to know that Erica Kirk is playing in y'all's faces, and she literally doesn't give a fuck about all y'all. All those streams that she's gonna get, all that revenue, those royalties, is gonna go to her. I don't know if it's necessarily gonna just go to her, but just Turning Point USA in general. So just a reminder. So have fun. God bless. Watch Kid Rock. Underage young girls. Rock on. I truly hope y'all have a blast, because I already know you're gonna watch for 5 seconds, you're gonna get bored. Boom, change it back.
files into a wood chipper on live television, baby. Would have been fantastic. But instead, you got this. Instead, you got somebody's drunk 55-year-old file uncle lip-syncing to Kid Rock. Woof, powerful stuff. Just absolutely bringing down the crowd of all 87 people in attendance who showed up for that TPUSA event, baby. And Erica Kirk, CEO of Turning Point, declared this before the show. Yes, Erica claimed that there's an audience that wants Bad Bunny. There's an even larger audience that wants ours. And did that turn out to be the case? Did the fake Christian evangelical Zionists manage to pull off bigger numbers than Bad Bunny? Turns out, no, it was really, really ugly. And while Fox News is going to tell you this, what an astounding success this was for TPUSA.
Meanwhile, say the Super Bowl culture clash, 2 halftime shows, 2 very different visions of America, and 1 massive audience watching it all play out.
Ah, yes, Charlie Kirk would have absolutely loved a self-admitted file leading his Christian event, bringing something different for American families. Now, what do the numbers actually look like in this amazing success from Erica Kirk and TPUSA? Well, let's take a look at the main place they broadcasted this on their YouTube channel for a whopping 3.7 million views. Holy shit, can you imagine that? They managed to get, I don't know, the average viewership of a Candace Owens show on a Tuesday with your $250 million organization putting it on. Wow. Amazing stuff. TPUSA brought the house down, winning the culture war for sure. Yes, MAGA absolutely destroying everybody in the culture war. But let's look at, that's a nice 3.7 million. I think if what numbers are saying, if you add up all their different live streams from Apple Podcast and Spotify and all this stuff, it's around 5.5 million views. And what did Bad Bunny do? So, official Super Bowl halftime NFL numbers. Bad Bunny's 2026 halftime show attracted an estimated 135.4 million viewers, making it one of the most watched halftime performances ever. Oh, so those numbers are pretty close. TPUSA almost matched Bad Bunny. So it turns out in the culture war, the battle for America, Bad Bunny's show did 26 times more viewers than Erica Kirk's show. Wow. Man, dang, it's almost like nobody gives a shit about Turning Point USA or anything they have to say after they've destroyed Charlie Kirk's legacy. Now, with anything like this, the best thing we're going to get out of it is, of course, the memes. Here's one here. Imagine being a homeschool Christian mom of the...
Turning Point USA's alternative halftime show crashed and burned before it even started, and the desperation leading up to it makes it even funnier. On the biggest day for their right-wing counter-programming, the whole thing fell apart. The show couldn't even stream on Twitter, the platform they were counting on. Their audience was forced to YouTube, while Bad Bunny dominated the actual Super Bowl. This is what happens when grifters try to compete with actual talent. Let me walk you through how this disaster unfolded, because the panic started well before the technical meltdown. MAGA influencers were already gaming the numbers before kickoff. Jack Posobiec, a Turning Point contributor with 3 million followers, was coaching the base on what he called ratings maxing. He posted, "Many people are saying they plan to have the Turning Point USA halftime show on multiple devices at the same time. We do a little ratings maxing." Users responded with plans to stream on PlayStations, phones, multiple TVs, anything to inflate the numbers. One user bragged about pressuring his mother to get her friends to tune in, posting screenshots of his messages to the family group chat. This is the energy of people who know they're going to lose. Google search data told the real story. Interest in Bad Bunny was running roughly 3 times higher than interest in the Kid Rock show in the 24 hours before the game. The actual performer was dominating the conversation. The alternative was an afterthought, and then came the technical collapse. Turning Point USA posted this update shortly before their show was supposed to begin. Due to licensing restrictions, we are unable to stream the All-American halftime show on Twitter. Head on over to our YouTube channel tonight around 8 p.m. to watch the full show. Think about what that means. Twitter was supposed to be their home turf. Elon Musk bought the platform for $44 billion in part to amplify right-wing content. He spent the past week handing out millions to conservative influencers. The algorithm favors their content. The engagement is artificially boosted, and they still couldn't make it work. Whatever caused the licensing restrictions, the result was humiliating. Their big counter-programming event designed to body Bad Bunny, and the ratings couldn't even stream on the platform they control. they were relegated to YouTube, while the actual halftime show commanded 100 million viewers on network.
One of the things people need to realize is that you can be contrary to so many things. You can be contrarian, you can be all kinds of things. But people ultimately are going to let you know whether you're on the right track or not. Because let me tell you something. They had only 6 million views. 6 million views. That was it. Nobody wanted to watch. Even the president. He was hate watching Bad Bunny and not watching TPUSA. Oh my goodness. And you would think that, they had everything together and everything. And let me tell you, the president was busy watching Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's zone was more fun, more going on, more exhilarating, and just more lively, and it's just more of everything. Nobody wanted to watch Kid Rock scream, forget his lines, thrash about the stage. Not only was there 6 million views, which was such a bad performance, but a lot of people didn't watch. Erica Kirk wasn't even there. She didn't even give a speech. The crowds were not there or anything. Everybody was at the actual Super Bowl and nobody was watching that. This disaster, coupled with new revelations of Erica Kirk, her behavior, her character, her hand in her husband's, unaliving, supposedly, allegedly, is getting people to a state where we don't need to be bothered with this. We don't need to be bothered with her. And then with this flop, the consequences are TPUSA is going to be in trouble. TPUSA may not even get the donations that they usually get. After all she was studying from the time her husband died, hey, we're going to make this money and all that stuff. And I know there's been many discussions on that. But to be honest with you, she's been focused on all that kind of stuff. She could care less about the actual grief. A lot of people who've had losses says, you know what, Erica ain't acting like a real person, a real widow, okay? That's lost somebody as tragic the way he went. And she wants to hold this TPUSA halftime show on top of that. So, a lot of money was spent. And nobody watched. Nobody cared. Not only is there this disaster with her, and in addition to the situation with her also allegedly being written out of the will, I mean, look, if this keeps up, who's going to donate to TPUSA? And another thing is, since Nicki Minaj, came out as Republican and conservative and supportive of those people, has been on TPUSA's platform, how come they didn't ask old girl to come and give a concert? I was shocked. They did not even ask MAGA Minaj to sing a couple of songs, rendition, give a performance, or even add it to the halftime show. I am so surprised. And it goes to show, look, tokens get spent. Nobody cares. That was a really, really bad look for the organization. And it seems that Candace is closing in on a lot of weird things about Erica Kirk and what she's doing. Candace is closing in on a lot more information that Erica Kirk is a groomer. Erica Kirk, when she ran that orphanage, or not orphanage, but that whole charity in Romania, that she, was allegedly, kids, sending kids to places they shouldn't.
At age 25, while living in Michigan, had a very inappropriate relationship with a 15-year-old child. It is sick what Erica messaged to this girl. She groomed her for almost a year. Please look into it. God bless you, your family, and team. I did look into that. I watched Baron Coleman's episode and made some contact. We'll tell you about that at a more appropriate time, which will probably be not next week. We're taking the week off because we are we want to get together our Erica series, which is not going to be like the Brigitte series, but just doing a general background, separating fact from fiction. There has been some fiction People misread things, and there have been some facts, and there are still question marks. So we'll give you more on that.
Erica Kirk is alleged to have groomed a 15 to 16-year-old child from 2013 to 2014. I'm going to double down with all of this is alleged. I'm not actually making a claim in this video. I'm just going to show you guys a bunch of tweets from before 2014 and let us all come to our own conclusions. 2 accounts you need to be aware of. We have this Twitter user and we have Erica Kirk's old Twitter account. I'm redacting the name because after doing just a little bit of research, to me, it seems really likely that this girl was aged 15 to 16 at the time of these interactions. But we have this account and we have Erica Kirk's now private account she had with her maiden name. And you might be thinking, where's the proof if her account is private? The account this lady ran while she was high school aged is not. As I show you these tweets, keep in mind that this girl is anywhere from 15 to 16 and Erica Kirk would have been 25 at this time. Our timeline starts in 2013 where it appears our teenage victim reaches out to Erica on Twitter after meeting her. And then we have a bunch of, if you ask me, one-sided displays of affection from the teenager. And while we can't see how or if Erica is responding just yet, at this point in the timeline, what I can say is either this girl's feelings are getting reinforced or she is applying pressure to a lady 10 years her senior in a way Erica probably should have checked if they were in contact. And as the timeline goes on, it seems more obvious that that was the case and that they were in contact. I could really keep going with examples from November to February, but this tweet from around Valentine's Day in 2014 really paints a picture. Why did Erica send me this? The tweet says, and it's a Finding Nemo meme straight up out of the Epstein playbook. If I'm being straight up with you guys, especially when you consider she is 25 sending this to who we would 2 months down the line find out was a 15-year-old based on the chocolate-covered strawberry she sent to this teenage girl when she turned 16. You might think that sounds crazy, but the timeline gets the most insane in June of 2014. This now 16-year-old is stone cold posting screenshots of their conversations. Pause to read. Needless to say, not appropriate between a 16 and a 25-year-old, just if you ask me.
So you're telling me folks is actually surprised that the head of Turning Point USA currently, the head of Turning Point USA, the cult leader of Turning Point USA, right? The same people who are trying to debate the age of consent. Well, actually, the age of consent is. So y'all surprised that the same person could have allegedly been in a relationship with a 15-year-old? Come on. Y'all play too much. Understand this. Miss Conservative Erica Kirk, she keeps trying to hold on to this fallacy that she was only with Charlie Kirk and she was never in the limelight and she was never doing anything. They seen this chick in videos, movies, and dating shows, relationships with other people. They seen her. She was all over the streets popping it. And y'all surprised that this information come out? These are the same people who are advocating that the Epstein files ain't that bad. And we should just leave it alone. Y'all have a blessed day.
And it's like the more her character is, the more it's like, do you still support? The camp over there on the other side is looking real sad right now. The camp over on the other side is looking really, really sad.
What do you think about Erica Kirk?
Erica Kirk? Oh.
What do you think about Erica Kirk?
Would I get sued?
Throw it in the pile. Of course you will.
I don't want to say anything that's controversial. She did it, but I don't.